Because I'm the only fool who said yes. And I hope that you can get something out of it, whether it is for an actual speech contest that you're involved in, or in any way to help kids speak better and speak more confidently. We all are involved in the Washington Cup first round when we do the in-class contest. Okay, so you are a judge at that contest. I hope with this I can help you to be a better judge or have a better idea of what is expected of you as a judge at a contest, even at the level of a class contest. Sometimes you will be asked to judge a contest at a higher level at one of the following rounds, or you will be asked to teach a class or a camp on this matter. So basically my strategy today is just to identify skills and games that go with that to teach skills. Before I go any further, can I ask what are your expectations of this workshop? Silence. Yes, Barry. All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. We'll make you the official timekeeper, and you'll let us know when time runs up. Anyone else? Any expectations that you have? Good, no expectations, so I've already met your expectations, thank you. All right, and can I just see a show of hands? Who came to the same workshop last year? Okay, it was winter camp as well, it was exactly a year ago. Okay, good, so I'm basically just recycling the same workshop with a few differences. The purpose of this workshop is strategy for you as teachers on how to coach students for speech contests. But I hope that it can also carry over into your classroom or in presentations or any way that you can find useful, for you as a teacher or for them. The goal that I would like to achieve is to help you identify the skill set necessary for delivering an effective speech. Daniel, who's not here, asked me, because he's often involved in these kind of trainings, and he doesn't always know what he should teach when he's asked, you know, help kids with the speech contest. Most of the times we just tell them, speak louder, you know, or stand still, or move. But we hope to go a little bit deeper to identify a more layered skill set that can help them to speak with nuances and deeper meaning. Of course, everybody wants to know more games all the time, and I hope I can share and illustrate, demonstrate some games that you can use, not just for speech contests, but you know, for every class. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A session where we can talk about actual practical problems. I think one problem that we all have is time. There's not always time to do the things that the school expects you to do, especially if it's outside of our regular curriculum. So we can talk about how to solve that problem. What makes a good competitive speech? I think it's important that we look at, listen to, and go to speech contests so we can see what it is actually, what is a speech contest about and what makes a good speech. I'm a member of Toastmasters International. We specialize in public speaking and leadership. And each year we have a public speaking world championship contest. Last year I showed you a video of the previous winner. This year the winner is from Singapore, Darren Tay. And I'd like to start us off by watching this video. It's about 7 minutes long, but I think it's a good way for us to get the proceedings going. So let me just get it here.
Day. Outsmart, outlast. Darren, outsmart, outlast, Darren, day. in my tracks during recess and would tell me, I'm going to so get you outside, I'm going to knock you in your teeth, punch you in the gut, and laugh at your sorry behind. Well, he didn't quite use the word behind. I just cleaned it up because it's a Toastmasters program. And ever wondered why bullies always felt the need to tell you the exact sequence they would bully you? My friends, whenever I heard those words, my hand would tremble. Have you ever felt so fearful that you could not eat, sleep? At age 16, Greg was 6 feet tall and weighed 240 pounds of what I can only presume to be biological insulation. I tried everything I could. I tried buying a cake for Greg, hoping he would stop, only to have the cake on my face. I tried telling the teacher about it, only to have Greg torment me even more. I even tried taking up taekwondo and karate, only to break my wrist while trying to hit a thin plank. My friends, just as I was about to give up, my aunt gave me words of wisdom. She said, the way to deal with bullies is not to hide or run. The way to deal with bullies is to outsmart and outlast. It was like a light bulb in my mind that went bing! I can do that. And with whatever 14-year-old smart brain I had, I managed to outsmart and outlast Greg. I changed to a new school. Several years later, after my encounter with Greg, I met a bigger bully, a better bully, a stronger bully. And this bully, no matter what I do, I could not get rid of it. This bully would echo negative words to me, telling me I'm a loser, telling me that I would never, ever succeed. My self-esteem is so damaged that some days I would just want to lie in bed, not wanting to get up. Have you felt that way before? This bully knew my schedule so well and would stalk me 24/7. And I could not run away from this bully because this bully resides here. The bully is inside me. My friends, as much as we try to deny it, we are our toughest and strongest bullies. We beat ourselves up and put ourselves down. Have you ever felt that you were not good enough? I felt that way. At times we are our worst enemies. And at this point in time, if you are wondering, how long is Darren going to have his underwear outside his pants? This is the World Championships of Public Speaking Grand Finals. Isn't 5 minutes too long? If you felt that 5 minutes was long, how long have you been wearing your invisible underwear outside your pants? How long have you permitted your inner bully to take charge of your life? 5 minutes is long. Now I remembered the inspiration, outsmart and outlast. But this time around, I could not change to a new neighborhood. I could not change a new brain. I could not run away. Something else must change. And this was when there was a turning point in my life. I met another Toastmaster. This Toastmaster uplifted me and changed my life forever. His name is Greg. I met Greg. I was shocked to meet him at a Toastmasters meeting. Since when did the Toastmasters logo turn from where leaders are made to where bullies are made? Greg, by the way, is now a counselor, teaching teenagers to combat bullies. Who knew? And this was what Greg told me. He said the best way to deal with inner bullies is not to run or hide. You cannot run the bully here. The best way to deal with it is to stand firm, face it, and acknowledge its presence. When you do so, you are no longer identifying with it. You're stepping out and observing it. It's like instead of being out there in the storm, you're now in the house watching the storm. Your inner bully will weaken and fade. I was thinking, wow, that's profound. How come you didn't tell me when I was 14? My friends, I'm standing on stage now before 2,000 of you and many more watching worldwide. But I'm not afraid anymore. I'm in control because I'm acknowledging it. I'm stepping out of it, observing it, and watching it weaken and fade. My friends, let us all not run away from our inner bullies anymore. Let us all face our inner bullies, acknowledge its presence, and fight. Let us all be vulnerable together as a family, supporting one another. Because we can all outsmart and Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, did you enjoy that? I hope so. I thought it's a very powerful speech. And it also shows us that to become a world champion in public speaking, you don't have to specifically be an American, or say it can be from anywhere in the world. As long as you speak clearly, you follow the rules of public speaking and the skills. So any kid in your class can one day become a world champion of the world. So you never know who's in your class, right? Would anyone like to comment on it? No? Okay, thank you. Let's move on. You guys are awesome. Thank you. So just let's look at the different kinds of speeches. There are basically four main categories: to inform, to persuade, to entertain, and to inspire. And the specific speech contest that we are in right now is the Washington Cup, the club contest that you had a month or so ago. That is for the Washington Cup, where all the schools under the Washington Foundation compete. Last year, usually the beginning of the school year, in fall, there is a storytelling contest that is sponsored by the city government. And then Jill just asked me to talk about what is the difference between a storytelling speech and a regular speech like this. This kind of speech is more in the first person, whereas storytelling speech is the story you tell, like the Three Little Pigs, or a folk tale, or a story about someone else. Whereas the speech we are going to talk about today is a personal story. It's not a story about someone else. And then, the life lessons you learn about that, how you can make it a universal value for everyone in the audience. So if you look at this, what would you say Darren Tay's speech was about? Which category? Inspire. Definitely to inspire. And yeah, there's an element of entertainment in, but I would say the main purpose of it was definitely to inspire. Which is always great. If you can inspire an audience, it's not easy to do, but if you do, it's really great. But it doesn't take away from the others. Basically, when the kid comes to you with a speech, it's always good to just find which one it is. Sometimes it will have elements of the others, but it's important that you identify the main type of speech. It's easier to give them feedback then. Do you all have this handout? The judge's ballot. Another question I had, a few people that I talked to, like what I said, Daniel said, what are the skills? The skills we want to teach the kids, basically, are the judge's criteria that's on this page. Pronunciation is 25%. Then it's fluency, 20%. content 15%, facial expressions and vocal variety 30%, so that's the highest mark. And then of course star quality 10%. That X factor, yes sir.
Can you explain the X factor, Josh?
Briefly. You either have it or you don't.
That's vague, thank you.
When you have it, you'll see it. And when you don't have it, you'll also see it. Go watch the X Factor on TV and you'll know. Okay, thanks. It's a numbers game. Judging a speech contest is a numbers game. The judges don't know the kids and they sit there for the whole day. Often, with like the Washington Cup, they sit there from 8 o'clock till 3 o'clock, maybe with the bathroom break here or there. So it's, sometimes you will look at the result and think, what were they thinking? Obviously. So just remember that. I want to show you the result after speeches are done. They print this out. This is what it looks like. It's just numbers. So, you know, we have to teach our kids also never to take it personally, because at the end, whoever makes the biggest impression on the judges is the one who's going to stand out. And usually in one category, kids are usually categorized, grade 1 and grade 2 is in one category, in grade 3 and 4 in one category, and grade 5 and 6. And each category has about 40 to 60 kids. So they have to find a way to stand out in the judge's mind, because otherwise it just becomes a conveyor belt. You know yourself, if you have to judge and it's just one after the other. You are looking for that star quality, for that special something. At the end of the workshop, I'm going to show you 2 videos from last year's Washington Cup, and I would like you to judge them. And then I will reveal the result to you after we've watched it, so that we can have a little bit of a practical hands-on experience and share our ideas. Okay, when you get the text from the student, or either you've written it, or you've edited it, or someone has prepared the speech, you have to help them to interpret the subtext, what goes on between the lines. And young kids are not at that level where they can get it themselves. Older kids can read between the lines and bring out the meaning much better, but especially our younger kids. You have to help them with the interpretation. Body language, as we all know, we'll look a little bit deeper into that later. It's important that we find confident body language for them. Not every kid is the kid that's going to be over the top dramatic. Some kids are, they like the melodrama. Some kids are quieter. You don't need to treat them all the same. Part of a speech coach's training is that you have to find the subtleties and nuances in each kid and bring that out. So the quieter kids obviously will have smaller movements or less movement, and the ones who are really confident can just go for it. The power of the pause. Often kids, especially younger kids who are beginning to read, think that the faster they read, the better readers they are. And we know that is not true. It's part of interpretation. Apart from following the obvious punctuation, the commas, the exclamation marks, the periods, where they have to take a pause, part of interpreting the scripts is where you put extra pauses in to create more power, to create suspense. So basically you take the page of the script and mark it for the kids where you want them to have these pauses to bring the interpretation of the story out. Eye contact is very important. Ask kids to find the friendly faces in the audience and look at them. Ignore the grumpy faces. And then also we have this kind of, some kids are trained to give a sweep, you know, that when they go, they sweep the room. They sweep the room, but they don't make contact. I just have to look at one person in the eye, and everyone will feel it when I look at one person on this side. And I choose another person, and I look him in the eye. That's eye contact. Eye contact should never be a sweeping, non-contact. You don't fool the judges. And it's about feeling. It's like something you cannot describe. Once you make proper eye contact with the person, you know. Whereas, and because we get nervous, and kids are very nervous, then we do the sweep. It's like, please let it be over. Let it be over. I don't want to look anyone in the eye. No, it's over. So if you can, it goes with the pause. If you know, anxiety also make kids not pause. They just want to get it over with. They just want to leave the stage. So that's where practice comes in, and your feedback to them. Help them to take the pauses. Be confident about the pauses and the eye contact. And then, of course, action and reaction. Usually with the speech contest, there's very minimal reaction from the audience. Because sometimes, audience members talk amongst themselves. If parents are there, they're only waiting for their kid. They don't pay attention to the others. But on the rare occasion that a kid does make contact with the audience, he makes them laugh, he makes them gasp. They need to know how to deal with that. And the best way to do that is let them do their speech for their classmates. Because if the classmates really listen, they will get it. And then you can also ask other teachers if you can let a student practice with other classes. That's a great way to help them deal with audience reaction and also break their shyness, kind of an icebreaker. Okay. Let me just stop the bus for a moment. Are there any questions up to now? Any remarks? All good? Anybody asleep? Time to wake up. Later we have wonderful snacks for the volunteers that's going to come up here and play some games with us. Right, Lawrence? Yeah. Just kidding. Okay. All right, so let's get back to our skills and games. You also should have another handout with the skills and games. And each skill I just took basically from the judge's balance sheet. We'll go through them one by one. Pronunciation, fluency. I did not include content. Content is just, what the story is about. And it's how you make the story special. That's kind of the writing process, which is a different workshop, so I didn't include that today. Then facial expressions, vocal variety. I included the websites. There are also websites to find games, but it's always great if somebody can test drive the website first and then recommend it. So these are really websites that I recommend for each skill. There are different ones that's really worth checking out. I've just chosen a few that I want to highlight. Let's start with pronunciation, because that is a biggie. It's a biggie for kids. How do we help them to pronunciate and enunciate properly? One of the most common ones is shadow reading. And just as another point, if you are responsible for the student's speech, it will be expected of you to record the speech for them, which is a good thing, because then they can play it back and do shadow reading with it. And that's basically their first step in learning the speech. It helps them to memorize, also helps with pronunciation, and it helps them with the pauses, where to pause, how to find the emphasis and all that. So you are going to be the first speaker of that speech, basically. Shadow reading is just following the CD, and also as an advanced skill, you can stop the CD at some point or the recording, let them continue, or just turn down the volume, let the CD continue playing, and then one stage just turn up the volume again and see if they've kept the pace and if they can catch up if they are at the same place. So that's a really very important first step in pronunciation. This is a game that I would like to demonstrate with volunteer or two. The yes game. Students try to give as many different feelings and meanings to one word or sentence as they can by varying the stress and intonation. The other students guessed what feeling they were trying to convey. If you guys can turn to, is it the last page? The last page, we have an example of a speech that was delivered by Suri. She was in grade 2 last year. Anybody knows her? Maybe we can just all try this game. What this game really means, you choose one word in a sentence and you ask the kids to emphasize that word, and then you guess what is the meaning of the sentence when you emphasize that word. Let's take the second paragraph's first sentence. The biggest problem most people face learning a new language is their own fear. Could you all just read it for me in your regular, normal voice?
The biggest problem most people face learning a new language is their own.
Okay, so could you guys emphasize biggest? Make biggest the emphasis of your line.
The biggest problem most people face learning a new language is their own.
Okay, if we emphasize biggest, how does it change the meaning? What does it mean? This is a question you would ask your kids. If we emphasize biggest, and I want you to emphasize biggest, what would you say the meaning is of that sentence? The most important, right. So, but if we change it, if we say, thank you, now let's try a different emphasis on people. If you could read it again and emphasize people. Right, and it changes the meaning slightly to what would you say is the meaning now? Taking this emphasis away from biggest, but adding it to people. We don't want to emphasize animals or others. Us, it's the people. Yeah, it's not about you, it's about other people. Thank you, and you can basically write a sentence on the board and use your own way to mark the emphasis, whether you want to make it a little bump over the word, or circle it, or underline it. You can practice with the whole class, or you can practice it one-on-one. It's a great way of kids getting involved. Okay. Number 3 is also a fun one. Silently mouthing. Students try to identify the word or sentence that the teacher or a student is mouthing silently. This is good for awareness of mouth position for English sounds. Let me try one, and then I'm going to ask a volunteer or two to come and mouth some words. Okay.
Amazing.
Thank you, sir. Jill. Oh, for the gentleman in the cap. Snack, please. Make it a good one. Thank you. Can I ask for a volunteer to come and mouth a word for us, please? Or I'm going to choose one. It's your time to shine, Greg.
Who's Greg?
Nobody. Yes,
You forgot my name.
I did.
Okay, find another volunteer. Come up?
Yes, please.
All right, no problem. What am I doing?
You're just mouthing a word. Choose any random word.
Any word?
Well, appropriate.
I gotta qualify these things.
Yeah.
Any word?
And if you can stand here so they can see you better,
Okay.
and look at them and just mouth it silently.
Let's see. Okay. Hey, pretty good.
Oh my God! Somebody's gonna roll. Thank you. I'm too old for this job. What could I say? Can we give him another one, please? And one for Glenn.
Somebody else can have one.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's move on to. So So that's basically pronunciation games, and you can find more on the website.
Thank you.
Okay. Fluency and spontaneity. How do we do that? Shouldn't kids already be fluent when they do speeches? Maybe. Most of these things are also very important for kids who are doing their first speeches, kids who are nervous. Even for advanced speakers, it's always good to practice some fluency games. This is one, I just want to give you a brief example. There's a full explanation of it on the page. 1 minute impromptu speeches where basically you give a kid a topic, you have a timer, and you ask them to talk about that topic for 1 minute at the top of their heads. It helps with spontaneity, it helps with fluency. You don't always just have to work with the text and their script. You can do other exercises that can help them improve. There's a list of topics you can use that you know kids might know in your class. And yeah, and this is a bunch of impromptu 1 minute speeches. And you can make it a game, you can award points. If they do the full minute, non-stop, give them whatever points you would want to give them for full marks. If they make it to 30 seconds, they get half the points. If they just stand there, even if they say nothing, it takes guts to sometimes just stand there and say nothing. Give them a reward for that as well. The first time they might just stand there like a statue. Next time, they might say a few sentences. It's really a great thing. In Toastmasters, we have a session called Table Topics, where we have 3 minutes to answer a question or talk about a topic at the top of our heads. It's really great training for any speaker, even for us. Sometimes, but I think a lot of us already do it in class. We just talk for 30 minutes non-stop, impromptu. Am I right? Okay, on the next page, page 3, 5 things. And this is, I'm going to ask for 3 volunteers to do this game with me. Students stand in a circle, or you can just ask a few students to line up. This is where I, as the teacher, will point to somebody and ask them to name 5 things in a category, like 5 kinds of candy, or 5 kinds of breakfast food, or 5 songs you like, or 5 boys' names, or 5 colors. And then they have to name them preferably without hesitation. And they can come up with silly things. It's not a test, it's a game, so it can be any fun thing. The main goal of it is to be spontaneous, to go with the first word that comes up. And then us, as the classmates or audience, are going to support them by, after they name each one, you get the first one, we go 1, and then they name the second one, and we'll go 2, until they name all 5. Okay, who would like to play this game with me, please? Thank you, Chris. 2 more, please. Who's going to follow Chris? Thank you, Barry. Always up for a good laugh. And thank you, Glenn.
Thanks, John. You realize this is going to be the whole time, right?
Right. Okay, you guys can just line up next to each other. Who's got a category for us? Can you guys just yell out a random category?
I want to choose my category.
No, that's not the category. You cannot choose.
I'll choose the one for him.
All right.
Choose for each other.
Okay, sure. Okay, so you give a category to
Chris.
Chris.
I'm Chris.
Oh, is it? It's the nerves. All right.
String theory.
What?
Tennis.
Tennis. Categories of tennis?
Like tennis players, can you be more specific?
Let's see.
Name 5.
All right.
Okay.
Just relax. Okay. Female tennis players from the 1990s. You want specific?
See, that's why you should not choose.
Okay, can I go first?
Yes, no, sure.
Wait,
Why don't I
Barry-
give the categories?
Barry, 5 brands of beer.
There you go.
Why
Heineken, Taiwan.
We're going to support you in this. Can you name the first one again?
Heineken,
1,
Taiwan Gold Medal,
2,
Guinness,
3,
San Miguel,
4,
Red Stripe.
5. Excellent.
And
You know,
now,
yeah.
and it's a Greg, right?
Beer.
5 hockey teams, NHL.
Okay, Winnipeg Jets.
1.
You guys are too slow. Is it gonna start again? All right, Winnipeg Jets.
1.
Detroit Red Wings. Yeah.
2.
Calgary Flames.
3.
Los Angeles Kings.
4.
Edmonton Oilers.
5. 5 things.
Okay.
Okay, so would you like to
Can
give
you
me
give me
one
something that's possible?
Something that's possible. Please.
You're uncomfortable with string
Sharapova or something?
okay, never mind. Let's see. How about school subjects?
Math,
1,
science,
2,
English,
3,
history,
4,
social studies.
5. 5 things. Let's give it a big hand, guys. In improv, you know, I play improv games with an improv group. When somebody does that, we call it pimping them out. So you have been pimped out. Anyway, thank you. Please, yes, more snaps for the gentleman. Thank you. So this is a great game that kids love. Start off easy and then progressively make it more difficult and work your way up to string theory. Okay. All right, well, a fun thing, another activity, backwards. Let them read their speech backwards, especially when they know the speech already pretty well and maybe they have some bad habits that's difficult to break. When they read it backwards, it forces them to think differently about their speech, and it's really helpful in breaking bad habits. And it's just a fun thing to do. Interactive speed reading is basically where we ask kids to read one word at a time. If 2 kids can play together, just choose who's number 1 and who's number 2. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or if you introduce it, you as a teacher can be 1 and the class can be 2. For instance, if we go back to Suri's speech at the end, and we're just going to practice it from the top. I'll be number 1 and you are number 2. And then it would go like this. Ladies, gentlemen, judges, so have you ever nervously front people to English wanted run away. There you go. This is great for a quick scan or a quick review. And the fun thing when you play it in partners, in pairs, is that you can give them a stopwatch, or you can time them and then see where they... So you give them a minute, you give them a time limit of a minute, see how far they read, and then ask them for a second reading and say if they can go past their previous mark in 1 minute. And then, you know, usually they will. They will improve all the time. Or you can, if you wanted to use it for them to memorize the speech, especially with people who's going to do the speech camp and is going to do speech theory next semester, you might have more than 1 kid in your class. You can ask kids to keep busy. Like, if I know the speech classes, the booster classes for the speech kids next semester is going to have 3 kids in the class. So while you work one-on-one with 1, you can ask the other 2 to help each other with their speeches, doing these kind of activities once you've trained them how to do it. Okay. We're 3/4 through the workshop. I want to get to the videos of last year's Washington Cup that I want to show you. So I would say, where are we? Local variety, which is very important to get out of that monotonous, robotic style of reading and speaking. There are exercises for pitch, there are exercises for tone, for volume and rate. And the difference between pitch and tone, pitch is just the pitch you speak in your natural voice. And you can vary that between high pitch, middle pitch, and low pitch. Whereas the tone is your emotions and how you say something. And that is fun. If you, for instance, if we can all do this exercise together, it's called ham sandwich. Could you all repeat after me, ham sandwich? Thank you. Now please say it angrily. Happily. Sadly. Lovingly. Despairingly. And there's a long list of how you can do it in different tones. It's a nice fun thing. It's also, kids can do this on their own. Volume, loudness. There's an exercise called laugh out loud. If you would all take a deep breath with me. And now you're going to laugh it out until as loud as you can until your breath is up. Ready, steady, go. And you can do that, you can do it as a silent laugh, you can do it as a quiet laugh, as a loud laugh. It's just fun things you can do with kids. The speed of it, the rate, there's a whole description that you can read in your own time. I won't go into it. But it's really important to know that to vary your speed makes for a more effective speech. It brings out the deeper meaning. I would like to play this game, Greetings Your Majesty, before we go to more videos. You might have played it as it's a childhood game, where one person stands with their back to the class or to their friends, and you come up one by one, and that's the king or queen, and you have to disguise your voice and speak in a different voice so that they won't recognize you. You're trying to fool them. And that's Greetings Your Majesty. Different kinds of voices, okay? So that helps them to break out of that, oh, I don't want to speak in a different voice. Okay. Who here would you say knows everybody? Jill. Jill, you know everybody, right? Right, Jill? Would you like to be our queen?
Okay.
You'd be our queen. Let's give it up for Jill. Thank you. Just stand there in the middle with your back towards us. And can I please, I'm going to point to you, or any volunteer that would like to come up first. And all you need to say is, Greetings Your Majesty. Oh, that makes food. There you go. The last one. Greetings, Your Majesty. Can I ask you, sir?
Greetings, Your Majesty.
So you need to guess who it is.
Can you say it again?
No, only one chance though. Take a guess, just a wild guess.
He's a man.
Yes?
Glenn.
It's Chris.
You mean Craig?
Okay, one more. Can I ask somebody over here? Oh, yeah, yes. Yes, please.
Tina.
No, it is. No. Thank you. It's Joanne, am I right?
Yes.
See, I got one name right. All is not lost. Could you please give Joanne a snack, Jill, and one for yourself? Okay. So please, if you guys have a pen, please take it. If you do not, I would like you to judge the next two speeches that I'm going to show you. Just raise your hand if you do not have a pen, you need one. And your judge's sheet, anyone? This is the second grade speeches from last year's Washington Cup.
Now, what is the most exciting moment of the World Championship of Badminton is coming? Let's go see. 再站起来 come, so I will. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World Championship of Badminton. My name is Yuta, and I'm playing in the finals. My team has come to and representing my country. Time 1. And opponent 6 is better just because taller. Are very short, but I can jump high. I can move as fast as the wind. When I hit the birdie, when I hit the birdie, and it goes back. That sounds that's yours. The whole one is fine. If I something, it's not me. I become taller, stronger, and faster. It's almost time for a match to begin. The crowd is swelling. My opponent is ready. I'm ready. I'm nervous because I have my whole life for this moment. My moment of destiny. People think you only need a record. The birdie let everything. Let me jump a little secret and you much more. We speed, that is, we zigzag across the road. Super fit, and with a nerve of speed. And with a invented, we need muscles. But muscles, my muscles, and very muscles. This is illegal. To fly, to confident, with anticipate, to focus and to attack at the right moment. Like this, back, and this, back, and this, back. And again, repeat, repeat, repeat. Fight, run, conquer, win. I come to win today. Everybody told me that I would never win. I never listened to them. I believe in myself, no matter what. Every time I play, I conquer, giant. People look at me and think that I'm too short, too slow, or too fast. Everything changed my life. It made me believe that I would be a winner in everything. Here's what I'm going for. Time to start. I'm golden looks worried. Stop. Shoot. I'm a giant. Okay. Let me take a deep breath. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Ladies and gentlemen, the match of my life. Attack! Wow,
Okay, I'll give you a few seconds just to fill out your scorecard. Yes.
When you score the first student, there's nothing to compare it to. So
Right.
how do you get around that?
It's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's a very legitimate thing, and it's in all when we do judges training in Toastmasters, they always remind us, you know, don't give a low score to the first one. Basically, kind of wait with your score. You know, give them a preliminary score and then wait until all spoke and then you give a final score. Because if you give a final score right from the, it's just like Barry said, there's nothing to compare it to. So you have to kind of, out of thin air, give an opinion and a score. It's very hard, and it's pretty unfair. It's usually considered unlucky to be number one. And if I analyze the results from previous contests, and the winners are always in the later numbers. It's always from after 30. It's very, very rare that somebody that's first or in the first few. It's very unfortunate, but it's how it goes. If you're a judge one day, maybe you can change that. The thing is, there's not a lot of judges training available in Taiwan. Sometimes they use judges who's available. It's not always, I'm sad to say, it's not always who is the best, but it's who is available. So, and the judges, you know, they have their own opinion as well. So, yeah, hopefully. Usually I feel like because there's more than one judge, in the end it might work out, it might be a balance here, because even if one judge is really low, give low scores to the beginners, the others might, you know, bring up the average, hopefully. Okay, so there's just one more. So his number out of 60 was 31.
Ladies and
This was number 40.
dear judges and fellow contestants, have you ever stood nervously in front of people and started